Welcome to the Craft Service Table, the podcast where we talk about filmmaking from the perspective of the people who make them. I'm Howard, and joining me today on the first ever episode, assistant editor / editor, camera operator, Mythical crew member, freelance director and editor, Tom Holland impersonator. He's still celebrating John Williams' 2024 Grammys win, is Jake Elder from Mythical. Welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you, Howard. That was a nice introduction.
Yeah.
I know I gave you some of those pointers, but I like the John Williams one. Yeah. That was really nice.
Yeah, are you still celebrating John Williams' win?
Always. I think it's well deserved. You know, with the Oscars coming up, I don't know if I'd want him to win for that in the sense of like The Fabelmans was nominated a while ago, and I feel like that would be more deserving win than I think Dial of Destiny. As much as I love that soundtrack, but the Grammys, man, we'll take it. I'll take it for Helena Shaw's theme.
Do you have a pick for Oscar win this year for score?
What do we have the list of the nominees?
Man, I don't. Zone of Interest, Dial of Destiny, Oppenheimer.
I think it's probably going to go to Oppenheimer, if I'm being real. Out of all of those options that I've talked about. Yeah. I would love to see it go to John. I think it would be deserved.
Yeah.
But considering that Raiders and Last Crusade and Temple, I think even, were all nominated, I don't know if I'd want it to go to Dial. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Give it to Temple. Yeah. Give it to Raiders.
We got Oppenheimer, Dial of Destiny, American Fiction, Poor Things, and Killers of the Flower Moon. I guess this just turned into an Oscar.
Yeah, I know. Now we're just like figuring it out from that point. Poor Things is another contender. I did like that one. Yeah. I thought that was pretty good. Very avant-garde a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Maybe we can watch it together. We'll see. We'll talk about that later.
That would be a fun one.
But Happy Chinese New Year.
Happy Chinese New Year.
It's today, actually.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I mean, it's probably this episode, by the time it comes out, it's probably 2 or 3 weeks past already.
It's okay.
But or a week past. I'm trying to do a quick turnaround.
Sure. Yeah.
But were you born in 2000? Question mark?
No, 1999.
Oh, so your year already passed.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Okay.
Rip. Okay. I wanted to be the first episode to be with you because it just kind of made sense to me, because I feel like I talk to you the most about it every time we hang out, and then like when I'm at Mythical with you, like every time we have lunch, it's like we talk about what we want to do, and you also kind of pitched a lot of ideas to how this podcast is supposed to be structured.
Sure.
So yeah, it only makes sense, and you're a great friend of mine, so
appreciate you, man. Yeah, happy to be here. Excited.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, ready to hear what else you got in store on the other episodes. So I hear you got a good lineup coming up.
We have a good lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next episode, catch Red and Link on my episode.
Yeah. And get Stevie on here.
But anyways, I want to kick off this whole thing by asking you, what's your favorite and least favorite craft service item, and why? What do you go for on set or shooting?
So that's a good question. Mythical is weird because we don't really have set crafty. We have kitchen crafty, right? So it's constantly being refilled. For me, there was a time where they had stocked strawberry waffles. It's packaged.
Packaged?
It's a packaged strawberry waffle, and it doesn't sound good. Mm-hmm. But there's something about having like cut strawberries, and like there was little like sugar chunks in it that like in the morning after like driving in hours of traffic, that just hit the spot. Little coffee on the side, some good shit. Can I cuss in this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Go free.
Yeah,
go
it's
good
off. Fucking shit.
Good fucking shit. Yeah.
Yeah. They stopped. It's not supplied there right now, so I don't know what's going on. But usually, then if it's not there, I'll grab the usual, like a fruit snack. Can't go wrong. Welch's fruit snacks. Or we used to have kind of like a fruit stick that I would also eat, which was also really good. I'm not one for a granola bar or like peanuts.
Are those things always there? At your disposal?
Usually, yes. Mm-hmm. And I think coming from the editor's perspective, I need something that I can free up my hands, so I can't really like put I can't put nuts in my hand.
Got him.
And, right, yeah. Huh, I set myself up for that one. I really did. I can't put nuts in my hand and edit at the same time, you know? So the snack that I need needs to be take a bite, put it down, take a bite, put it down, take a bite, put it down. So that has been my rotation usually.
Do you have a least favorite thing that they have? Like you never go for them, or if you have them, you hate it. I know they have moon pies. I don't know what your opinion is on there.
My least favorite would probably be something like, I'm not a Flamin' Hot Cheetos fan. Oof. And it's probably controversial. I can already see everyone else shaking their head here.
Parvati's here, by the way.
Yeah. That's just not for me. And it also goes with like being an editor. It's the one food you don't touch because it's gonna like, you know, it's
fuck
like
up your whole station, right?
Exactly. So it's like I'm gonna stay away. So I don't really do like the traditional like on set. What am I doing? What's my snack? I'm gonna sit behind a desk. What's gonna be my snack of choice? And so it's usually like a fruit snack or something fruity, I guess.
Nice.
So yeah.
So I want to kick this episode off also by asking you kind of how I ask every guest on here. How did you get into filmmaking and electronic arts in the first place? And like, what's your like why art, why film? What's your origin story? How'd you found it, kind of thing?
Sure, that's another good question. For me, my love for film kind of just stemmed from figuring out that there was like a common denominator to all the movies that I did like. Yeah. So I used to have an affinity for dinosaurs, right? And so when I was old enough, I was gifted the Jurassic Park set on DVD. Great bonus features on this. You know, I would watch and I was like, oh, Steven Spielberg, cool, whatever, you know? And then I would watch like Back to the Future and it was like executive producer Steven Spielberg and I'd be like, huh, cool. Yeah. And then I would watch Indiana Jones and that was like my favorite. And then directed by Steven Spielberg. And I was like, huh.
This guy is up to something.
Yeah. Yo. And then like the scores for those always slap. So like, you know, save for Back to the Future, all those were John Williams, you know, and so my appreciation for film kind of just stemmed from realizing that the two things that I love the most, which was just like storytelling and soundtrack, were all channeled to one or two people, Steven Spielberg and John Williams. Yeah. So, you know, there was a part of me that was just like, oh, this is what I want to do. You know, watching Steven Spielberg talk about like the storyboarding process or his conversations with Stan Winston in Jurassic Park, you know, and how they went through different iterations with Phil Tippett on what the velociraptors look like, you know, the slippery lizard tongue and versus removing that sort of thing. And I was like, wow, like, I like that sort of thing. I would also add too that I feel should be recognized is I also had some affinity for Tim Burton too, like stop motion animation. Nightmare was a big one for me. Chicken Run was another one.
Yeah. Important cinema,
honestly. Wallace and Gromit, you can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with that.
And just that weird vibe-esque. So I could see myself as those directors, because I like the themes, you know, both symphonically and in the literary sense of, you know, thematic themes. So it kind of stemmed from there.
Was that something you were aware that when you were a kid watching these movies and feel like, okay, I'm really vibing to the music, or is it just something that you kind of gain an understanding afterwards?
I think I would like vibe during the movie. Wow. Because I do remember a lot of the times I would go to like Apple Music and look up that movie. And this is when it was like $1.29 per song, you know, and I didn't know what YouTube was. So I would just listen to like the little 30 second preview that they have and look for that one specific song that I was looking for. Very select few because obviously I was a kid and I couldn't afford a full album. So I would try to get the one song that really just encapsulated the movie.
It was your blockbuster pretty much.
It was my blockbuster. Yeah. But for music. And so, yeah, like I think it was just, I picked up on it as much as I think I picked up on the soundtracks more than I did even just like the story. You know, like there's moments where I was like, I'm vibing with this, but something about this moment is elevating it, you know, because I didn't understand what directing was. Like, if I'm being real, you know, like I knew I knew that the director did something big, but what was it, you know? But I could say that the music, the songs that I heard, was one person, John Williams. And funny enough, I never thought about being a composer, you know, but I definitely like, you know, it's part of who I am.
That's really interesting because I always been interested in films, and I never really gained an interest in like film composing and music in movies until way later.
That surprises me.
Yeah. So which is I don't know. I picked up filmmaking pretty late in my years, and then obviously the music a lot later than that. I don't know what happened. It's just something clicked, you know. Do
you have musical background?
No.
Like with piano, like were you taking lessons at all?
I took like 6 months when I was in elementary school, but that doesn't count, you know.
Because I was gonna say, like, do you think like it stemmed from a moment where you realized that like instruments play a part in composition or something like that, or like, you know,
I have no idea.
It just existed for you.
It's like once I got into film, I started like magically listening to soundtrack and then started gaining a really good like appreciation for it. Yeah, I have no idea what happened.
Well, it sounds great. I do love the pieces that you have worked on.
Thank you. I feel like that's how we connected a lot, like because I feel like I talked to you about score the most.
Yeah.
And you talked to me about the score the most. I remember when we were working at Mythical and we were just slacking each other. Listen to this song while you edit this episode. It's funny. Yeah. So we met during our college year. Towards the end of it. It was after COVID pretty much. After we went back to campus and started like producing our movies and stuff. You produced my senior film, which is interesting because we didn't know each other before, which is another interesting thing about our story. I don't know if you remember this. We actually were in the same space before we knew each other. Do you remember that story?
I feel like we talked about this, right?
Yes, but do you remember what it was?
Yeah, we saw Spider-Man.
Yes. Yeah. And how do we come to that? How did we come to that story?
Were you playing the soundtrack? Is that what it was? Or was I just talking about earthquakes? Were we just talking about earthquakes?
I think you were driving in my neighborhood and I was in the car. I forgot what the.
I think you asked me like, how do you know this neighborhood so well?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think for context on that, like I've grown. My friends from high school, you know, I went to Bishop Amat. You know, I could share that. Went to Bishop Amat over in La Puente. So like Covina, West Covina, Walnut, Hacienda Heights is kind of like where most people kind of came from for that high school. So growing up, this was a place for us to meet up because a majority of my friends already lived out here. So I know about like also Puente Hills Mall is where they film Back to the Future. So it was like, of course, like I had to know this area. But yeah, our history went back in time, unknowingly that we were in the same room together seeing Spider-Man at the same time. In the same theater, right?
The same theater, in the same auditorium. Yeah. And we remember vividly because an earthquake was happening at that time. And then, I
think that was fate. I think fate was like, you were not supposed to meet yet, you know?
Not yet. And then like a year later, and then we...
Was that a year later?
I don't know.
No, that makes sense because I think Spider-Man 2 came out like 2017? 18?
I think something like that. I'm not good with years, but... Yeah. So and fast forward, we're working together on a senior film. Yeah. Was that the first time you were producing?
Yes. Yeah. Which surprised me. Because I didn't. So I think what's funny is like at Long Beach, we're all supposed to write scripts, and that's supposed to be your senior thesis, and then those get elected. Yeah. I didn't write mine. I understood the assignment incorrectly, and I started like 3 days before it. I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to fucking try. Like, there's no point. This story is going to be so contrived. I don't want this to be what... Your work. Yeah, and I don't want to put other people through this if I'm not confident in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you could have gotten another spot, but that one person that we don't want to make. But...
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah. But I don't know.
I'm keeping that.
Yeah. We'll bleep it out later. But So I didn't write something, and then our professor was like, oh, if you didn't get a chance to do it, put your name down for things you'd be interested in. It's not to say that you're going to do it. So I was like, okay, cool. Producer, do sound design. I like editing. It sounds fun. I wouldn't mind doing that if that happened. I can do acting. That sounds cool. Just stuff willy-nilly. And then, like, I forgot if you, like, asked me. You asked me beforehand, right? Like, I think you texted me.
I texted you during class while we were talking about something.
Yeah.
And then we never talked to each other ever.
No.
I just remember I liked your work beforehand. Like, we would put in assignments and we would look at it together and stuff.
Which is very flattering because a lot of those are just, like, like, it doesn't say much about me other than, like, I kind of know how to use a camera. But, yeah, I do remember that. I do remember, like, you texting me. And, like, literally after, like, I know one person for sure reached out to me. And it's the person we will not name.
Oh, okay.
And was like,
Baltimore.
Yeah, would you want to produce? And I was like, yo, I'm sorry, like, hey, I'm gonna help out with Howard on this one. So glad I did that. That was a really good choice because I think we just worked well together, and what we were talking about, like, we have a lot of things in common. So, like, we kind of it just clicked, But yeah, producing is where it started.
How was your experience first time producing on set? Like challenges that you had to go through. How was it like?
My challenges were, funny enough, I'm very antisocial. Or at least I feel that I am. Yeah. And so it required me to, like, engage with people and be formal and be, like, proficient and professional. Making phone calls, sending out emails. I mean, I can't tell the number of emails we sent, and texts and stuff like that, right? So it's this idea of, like, having to organize a crew, right, until you take it over on set. You know what I'm saying? So that was a challenge for me because I've never really done anything like that. And so it was kind of putting me in, like, out of my comfort zone, and it was a really good learning experience too because I think I feel like I'm better at doing that now than I would have been before. But, and truthfully, I did learn from Parvati as well. I think what she was doing, like, I was like, I was setting my standards for that, like, oh shit, she's got the fucking, like, baller, but she's doing what? She's got like, a GoFundMe, like, oh, okay, Howard, like, realistic, I don't know, like, trying to, using that as, like, a groundwork and asking questions. I feel like I asked questions a lot too because I wasn't so sure, but I think a lot of it was, like, trial and error and being realistic with ourselves too. And realistic for myself, like, I know we were trying, like, we were given this budget and it was like, okay, like, how do we want to allocate this money? Like, the story of Winger is, our main protagonist. He's in a school environment, right? So I know our initial reaction was like, let's do the real thing. It's down the street. It's great. This is going to be easy. And then you get there and you go through the filing and permits and then, like, it's going to be like $3,000 to do it for a day. And you're like,
more than our entire budget.
Exactly. And it's like, that's a lot to ask for any GoFundMe. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, our best bet was, just doing it in our own school where really it's just saying we're going to do it, I think there was a small fee. And at that point, it was really making the calls with Long Beach people to just say, we're going to be using these offices. Can we use it?
And I'm glad we did. I think we saved a lot of money and saved a lot of time because everyone was already there, kind of. Yeah, kind of. And I'm very proud. To this day, looking at Winger, it's not the best thing that we could have done. It's not the best thing that I could have done. It's not the best thing that anyone could have done. That's literally where we started. I wasn't expecting us to have this big of a crew and this big of a production at all. So knowing nothing and getting what we got, I'm more so proud of how we were able to do it. That we were the cheapest movies.
Yeah.
Of the year, right? Was it cheaper than Pitmaster?
I think we were. We must have been.
We were cheaper than Pitmaster.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, we hit And it's funny, like I'm proud of that, but at the same time, the thing that so like gets me is just like, I remember everyone was upset with the lunches, and it was like, I'm sorry that we're not blowing our budget on 5-course meals for everyone. Like you know, like there are snacks. Like why is everyone? I think that was also a hard thing too, is like people's opinions. You know, and a lot of our crew had already been on sets for other things, and so they had this like, this is how it's supposed to go, or this is how I did it on my set. Yeah. So I think like our first day was like kind of,
it was hard on you.
It was hard on all of us. I think.
Yeah.
You know, like I know you felt like you couldn't get a handle on the crew, you know, and for me it just felt like there's just so many opinions about food, about location, about everything else, that was just kind of like my energy is being pulled in different directions, and I'm a big people pleaser, so like that was really hard, where it's just like, am I not enough? Am I not doing enough? You know, and then I have to support you, you know, and I feel like a lot of it was that too, like checking in on you, making sure you're okay. How are you feeling? Same with Sam. How was Sam doing? Blaine seemed fine. Blaine seemed fine. Blaine just existed, yeah. But I and maybe he has a different story that he could tell us, but I do remember like checking in and making sure that you were fine, Sam was fine, because you guys were my main goal. Like this was our group, this was our crew, you know, and same with Blaine. So having other people just kind of be like giving me cold shoulder or giving me attitude, that was hard for me. And it was also for me too, like I needed to take a look at how I talk to people too. Cause I can admit I probably was a little like I don't want to say hot-headed, but like trying to get everything done. And there was probably just like a tone of voice in the way I was speaking to people that probably threw people off. So like I respect and understand that there was a learning part for me to be able to like be what's the word I'm looking for? Like not a conversationalist, but
be more quote unquote professional. I
guess professional, like just the ability to like be direct but be nice. Like I don't know, you know, like it was especially on that third day when like Blaine was gone, you know, it was like I had to take his role, and so it was like I just felt like people didn't want to listen to me. Like I feel like Blaine had established this like level of professionalism that he created that worked for everyone else. And then my style was different. It was very producer. We need to get out of here.
Blaine was our first AD.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were the producer. And,
yeah.
He had this... Because we were shooting on the Thanksgiving week, he had to go home on the last day,
I think it was something like that, yeah.
We didn't have a first AD in Munich, needed to take over. But it was fairly easy on the third day because we did everything right on the second day.
Yeah. First day, I think we kind of scrambled. Second day, we felt pretty, because we had a company move on the first day, and so it was really crazy that we were just like, our first day was so heavy with like, all right, let's wrap it up, let's move everything, and like we're putting things in wagons, and we're shifting, and we're putting it back in the van, and then going just a few miles down, you know, stupid Long Beach, having 2 layers of like of a campus. Yeah, and then unpacking, it's outside.
Set everything up, and it's just a lot. And the camera broke.
Did the camera break?
I mean, the camera was having issue in the first 2 hours in the morning. Yeah, that's why we were delayed it so much.
What was happening?
I don't know. It's not
you let it go. Yeah, you're like yeah.
It took a long time for the camera to set up for the first shot.
Yeah. I think a lot of it for me was just like also understanding like, you know, these are my friends. This is their job. This is what they've been asked to do. I should take a step back, because like there are things that I would have done differently, but I was like,
I'm glad it was a good experience for you overall. I think. Yeah.
I think what we got out of it, like, is what you had mentioned previously. Like we made it in budget. Like we didn't go over. You know, we sourced a lot of things from. We didn't really even rent. It was like I was still working at the church, so we had access to sports equipment, because I remember we were trying to budget in fresh soccer balls, but we're like, why are we like the authenticity of a school? Like, sure, maybe that day they bought new soccer balls, but you know, that look, that feel, and jerseys and stuff like that. I feel proud of it because we did get a lot done, and that third day did feel pretty good, you know. Because I think what mattered most to me was that you and Sam felt good.
Yeah.
You know.
We had our differences all the time. You know,
Yeah.
we have every time I want something, she doesn't want something.
Yeah.
And vice versa as well. So like we kind of had to work very intensely on that.
Oh yeah.
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 But I think because of that, we had such a close knitted like couple main crew positions that we came out of it with new friendship, and
yes,
we got obviously really close. Me and Sam got really, really close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soon after we finished our movie, we had the showcase. We graduated. In the midst of all this, which you told me pretty early on, that you were working at Mythical all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had applied as an intern, and literally the day after we graduated, I started working at Mythical. So there's things I want to talk about in that, but like the one thing in that is like I wish, and maybe this is an end card thing, but I also feel like this is a topic sentence. I don't know. That does sound good. Like when you say like immediately after I graduated, like I started at Mythical, like how cool. But like
it is pretty cool.
It is cool. Yeah. But like I will admit that like I regret, or like I don't even know if regret's the right word, but jealous of the opportunity to just like relax for a bit. Yeah. And even like my sister's had it with her graduation, you know, she kind of relaxed for a little bit. And I didn't feel like I had that opportunity, and I feel like, you know, all those like life guru people, they're like, you just gotta like grind hard, dude. Like you just can't stop. Like it's the regimen, you know. You gotta wake up. I don't know.
Wake up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, you gotta
drink 2 tons of water and then hit the shower.
Exactly, and you're like, you gotta use cold shower. And it's like wake up.
My
here.
skin routine at 6 a.m.
Yeah, if I use Manscaped, like it's great. Like, and I'm like, no, like I don't have that. I can't create that, you know. And I wish I could have done that after graduation, right? And because I feel like I haven't had a break, and I wish I could have spent more time with friends, you know, with family. And I don't want to, in my head, the fear is like, it sounds like, ooh, woe is me, you got like a cool, like, it's like, no, like, honestly, like, I would have loved having that opportunity to slow down, to kind of reevaluate my life, to hang out with people, you know, because with Mythical, it turned into like a finding time during like the weekend sort of thing. And that was with family too. Like it wasn't just friends. You know, the problem that I had starting was like, I just live far, you know, and I would commute to Long Beach. I would commute to the place of work that I had before that, which was in Torrance.
That's even farther.
It was further.
Long Beach.
Yeah. And my first job ever was in Santa Ana.
That's pretty far too. Also
far, like past Disneyland. Yeah. So like I was no stranger to it, you know, but having that job right out of Mythical, the hardest challenge that I found was 2 things. It was fitting it into my schedule, right? That when it started, it was like a 9 a.m. call time basically to 6. And with LA traffic, it's usually about 45 minutes to an hour. So for a time I was really good at that. I was like, oh, I'm going to be on time, you know, cuz I was working. So the position that I got hired for, they had actually made for me. I was going to say auditioned.
AE didn't exist before?
It didn't exist before.
No way.
Yeah, it was, I applied for their digital content, which was their Mythical Society position. Which was just going to be like, as it sounds, like you're going to help out with Mythical Society. You might edit a little bit. You might work with the lead director and, you know, kind of just be an extra hand, basically. But when I had my interviews, they had actually established, based off my resume, having the job in Torrance, which was just an editor and like photographer for a film screen company. And then I also worked at a church. I was still working at a church. I was their AV technician and IT. I wore many hats there.
Videographer, I think.
Videographer, yeah, and photographer. And I updated their website updated their Facebook socials and whatnot. And then also just being at Long Beach and having done, not only producing, but I was a sound mixer and a sound editor for other projects. So I had this very like well-rounded application. So during the application process, they're like, we really like your resume. We're thinking of creating a new position that might suit your skills better. So they created the internship for me, which was to help in post-production. Right. So I was working very closely with the assistant editor. But in addition to that, I was also on set. So I was helping the set key PA there as well. For GMM.
Okay.
So certain days I would be on set. I would be, I might do a run, go pick up food for something. Or like I said, I would be on set helping move like food from the table when, between shots and whatnot. So I was doing that for a while. I didn't start prepping initially. I was doing more of their streaming, helping with the streaming content, because right now we're on Roku. And so my job was just to kind of start lay the groundwork for what that like export process looks like. Because before, we were worried about brand deals, so we would go into like the SRTs, which for anyone listening is just like, this is stupid jargon that's not fun, but SRTs are basically just like the
subtitles.
Yeah, it's the subtitles. It's the captioning basically. And then so I would go and sort, like I would get like 100 of them, and the process originally was to go for each one and like look up keywords. So like if it's a Disney Plus, that episode couldn't air.
I remember that.
Right?
Yeah, I remember that process you were telling me about.
And so like, or if it's at Amazon or something like that.
Do it for every single one.
Every single episode. And so what I found is like, I think what I did is I put them in, I copied and pasted all of them in a Google Sheet document, and it still kept all the coding. So it would say like at the 2-minute mark, it was this text. And then I would do a control find and I would see all of them. So I would have in columns each episode, and then I could very easily mark those time codes. So I created that system, and we don't use it anymore because we realized that it was not helpful at all. But, like that was my job for the longest time. Yeah. So yeah, I'll kind of conclude one part so I can move on to the next thought, in the sense that, so I did start as an intern. I did get an extension, and then I was hired full time towards the end of 2023, right? 2022? When did we graduate?
We graduated in 22.
Yeah, we graduated in 2022.
And then you were
like closer to December. I was hired full time.
Yeah.
I think it was like November is when I started full time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was 2022.
That was 20. Oh yeah, that would be 2022. Yeah. So then like 2023 I've been working. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Time. How does time work?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. What is this?
You would understand.
No. So then I got hired full time, and I've been working there full time.
How was it stepping into Mythical Studio for the first time? It was because you watched them as a kid, right?
Yeah, as a fan.
Yeah. So, how was that like?
Yeah, I started watching them as a kid. Like, it really started with like "Rub Some Bacon on It" and like "My Hair Goes Up." Those kind of songs.
Now they don't anymore.
Now they don't. They switched. It's weird, but no, I think that's a good look for them. They're, as the internet says, they're foxes right now.
They're foxes.
Foxes. Yeah.
They're foxes.
Yeah.
I remember the internet calling.
Or like the internet daddies. They're the internet daddies.
Oh man, you're giving me flashback to when Link posted the photo of his tattoos.
He did like a lesbian twink or whatever.
It's just so funny, yeah. But anyways, what were you saying?
Walking into Mythical was an interesting experience. I don't feel like I had much time to really like digest everything, because like I said, when I started, like it was just hitting the ground running. I do remember the first time I was on. There were some instances where I do remember like having like an out of body, like I'm here, like when I do recall my first experience with Link where I thought he hated me.
Link?
Yeah.
Link?
Yeah.
He's such a sociable person.
Yeah, I know. But like on set, like The requirement was, you know, I was given the direction to if Rhett wins this tub of butter, hand it to Link and Link will hand it to Rhett. I was like, okay, cool, easy. The moment happened, and so this thing's heavy, and so Link's waiting for me, and I see, and he's like, I don't remember how it went exactly, but it was just kind of like Rhett was saying, like, help me lift up this bucket and hand it to him, and Link goes, I'm not gonna help him, he's got it. So I drop the bucket on the table, and then I just slide it in, and it was just like a, and Link just watched it, and it was like, oh, great, and he picked it up from there. You know, what I didn't understand was that, like, I was allowed to walk it in, I was allowed to be in camera, and the reason why I didn't go walking camera was because, like, I was wearing a Nike shirt, and I remember getting the note, like, you know, you're not allowed to wear anything branded when you're on camera, but that was only for when we had a sponsored episode. So in this instance, it wasn't a sponsored episode. I didn't make the correlation, so I just made this extra moment of just like, I can't be on camera, and dropping it. Yeah. Thankfully, everyone said it was funny, but I was like freaking out because I was like, everyone hates me. I fucked it up. Like, I couldn't put the butter. Why didn't I put the butter? It was so much easier. I could have just walked on the camera. Nothing, you know, like, Or like, I forgot to put a mug out, I think, in one of the episodes, and I was already like,
that's it. You ruined Mythical. That's it.
Yeah, I was like, the fans are gonna hate me. They're gonna see it. They're gonna put on like the Reddit, like, yo, what happened in the mug? Like, it's usually here. Like, they're slacking. It's like, it's just me. I'm an intern. Like, give me some slack. You know, that sort of thing. But I do remember where I was like a moment where I was just like sitting down, and I was able to watch the monitor, and I was like, that's Stevie. That's you know, that's just, that's a Red and Link. What? Yeah. You know, and like, I was like, at the time I was still an intern, I was like, I might not get this opportunity again. You know, so
gotta take it in.
Yeah, taking it in. I'm like, wow. Yeah. Wow, that's a trash can over there. Gotta remember that.
It's a mythical trash can.
Yeah, it's a mythical trash can.
Where they puke in.
Yeah. That's Link's trash can. That sort of thing. Or like when we had Cookie Monster on, that was another like.
That was recent.
Yeah. Like moments where it's just like, whoa, like, this is crazy. Like, this is a GMM. I'm on GMM. Yeah. And then there's Cookie Monster. Yeah. That's nuts.
Speaking of that, like, you not wanting to be on camera, like when you first got in, I remember watching. I used to watch GMN during my high school days a lot. I used to watch them every single day, and you know, back in the days where they didn't have that much, that many crew members.
I don't think so. It was more like just their established, like the 10 feet
people.
tall guys.
Yeah, 10 feet.
And
can we name drop them?
I think so.
Mike and Alex.
Mike and Alex.
Those are my era. I just remember like watching them as a high schooler, be like, wow, that's like the best job fucking ever. Yeah. You know, I would love to be on there, and like, what the fuck do they do that I cannot do?
No,
that
100%.
Kind of feeling, right? And fast forward, we're both working there. We have friends who work there. Yeah. And congratulations on being on camera officially on GM More.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How was that?
That was a really cool moment. I can recall not freaking out before. But the moment I was in, like, the wings to, like, be ready to go on, I remember, like, oh, shit, I'm sweating. Oh, fuck.
You were there with... Who were you there?
I was there with Dylan and Carly.
Carly.
Yeah.
Carly, okay.
Yeah. I think we all coordinated what we were going to wear. So we all wore our mythical sweaters. That was a cool moment. I don't feel like I got much... for them to say, you know, to talk with Rhett and Link. I don't think I gave them enough material for them to work with, per se. They really stuck with Carly because they see her more, you know. She
runs the office.
Pretty much, right? Yeah. So obviously they're seeing her. You know, they said she works at the front desk and whatnot, and they're still in mints and stuff. So they'll come over from time to time. But usually since I'm just editing, you know, there's more of a reason for me to be at my desk, and they're usually off doing something for the Rhett and Link channel or Society. So, you know, they didn't know me personally, you know, and that's fine, right? They're busy guys. Because I just remember, like, if you watch the video, it's just kind of like I go, oh, yeah, and I was an intern, and then I get, like, a little, like, celebratory applause, which was really nice. And then, like, it was like, all right, next people. You know, granted, they were going through, like, 30 people. Yeah. Obviously, but yeah, that was my first time on camera. Hopefully there's more.
I hopefully we get to see you more often on GM More.
Yeah.
Or better yet, GMM.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm like every time I go back, it's like, yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Man.
So your position is assistant editor, and you're primarily working on prepping for all of the episodes, and that includes Mythical Kitchen, GMM, Society,
From time to time, yeah.
Podcast, Your Biscuits, and
Your Biscuits, a hot dog is a sandwich from time to
Oh, you
time.
prep that too,
And
yeah.
and Dispatches from Myrtle Beach.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So that's 3 podcasts just within the podcast category, and then you're also doing Red and Link channel as well, right?
Yeah, so that started the Red and Link channel. I'm also helping out with like the exports for our streaming service as well. So yeah, it encompasses a lot.
Yeah.
Like GMM, we say GMM, but that's also the more too. Like that gets prepped as well, and you've helped with those. That was very helpful. Mythical Kitchen, it's the one show. There isn't like a more for it or anything like that. And the Red and Link channel is another one. I'm just like trying to go through. I feel like there's more.
You're doing a lot of things as one person.
Yes. Yeah. Just trying to get through that. Especially right now, like we're doing Red and Link, their channel recordings and stuff like that. For right now, there's a lot of overlap. We're doing big production things, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see the kind of stuff that we're doing. Like I don't think I would be doing something like that at this moment in my life. You know what I'm saying? I don't get to touch much in terms of like creatively, because a lot of it is prep. But it's kind of cool to be counted as one small step in this process, right? Mm-hmm. Like Rhett and Link digging the hole. Like that was a fun one to prep and to see and to do. Or, when we have celebrity guests, like on Mythical Kitchen, we just had Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
Like that was really cool. I was in the room.
Tom Hanks was there when I was there.
Yeah, Tom Hanks was there when you were there. I think John Boyega too, right?
It was like, who was the other girl? Chamberlain? Emma Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was there too. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like good guests, and that's a fun opportunity that I get to say, like, and I love seeing the photos or just hearing stories from friends when they come off set, and they're like, oh my God, that's gonna be amazing, like the things that they talked about.
Josh is really good at his job.
Josh is incredible. The whole Mythical Kitchen crew. I mean, everyone's really good, obviously, but like, it's crazy how much research that they do for that show.
Yeah.
It's Josh and, their producer and I think like executive producer who are like really adamant about doing research and going deep into it. Like the Jake Johnson one, like they listen to all of his podcasts, and it's like, that's so cool. Like they do great work over there. And I'm really, really inspired by that, and I'd even have to give props to just the editors too. There's always a change of format for our shows.
And everything goes through you.
Everything goes through me.
And 9 to 5 is not 9 to 5 anymore for you.
No, well, it's like a 10 to 7 usually.
Yeah, to avoid traffic, obviously.
Yeah.
Because you make that commute, you spend like 2 hours a day driving?
Yeah, every day.
Yeah, and it's like, I know how it feels like, just from the couple months that I was there.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. And how do you find the balance? Having a 9 to 6, especially when you're so stressed and busy at work.
Yeah.
Between, doing things that you want to do and things that you want to pursue.
Yeah. So, I think it goes with like mental health and stuff like that. Yeah. In this idea of like setting boundaries for yourself. And I try to implement it with my family, with my girlfriend. We've been very good at it. Both for each other, in the sense that like, someone might ask if I have availability to hang out, and I might be open that day, but it's like I mentally cannot be present. Like I'm gonna be partially there, and so the main key for now that I found that really helped was setting those boundaries and just being honest. Like it sucks because like I don't like saying no. I'm a people pleaser and I do want to be there in those moments, but it's like, I know myself and I know I'm going to be half there, because one part of me is still trying to catch up, right? Because it's that go feeling.
Would you rather not being there at all than to be half there? Is that the mentality?
I'll have to think about that. What? Say it again.
Would you rather not be there at all than to be half there?
Yes, yeah, but like, I think it's for good for both of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like I just don't want to be there. You know, it's like it's fair to family and friends because I'm kind of just being there to be there. You know, versus like I'm just on my phone and I'm like, or I'm at home and I'm just sleeping because I haven't had that kind of rest. Because I felt like the challenge for me was always like, I still have to drive places. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the hangout's for like 4 hours or something, but it's still going to take me 40 minutes to get there and 40 minutes to get home. You know? And so it's like, it's going to be a long day. And I would have to plan according to that, you know? And from a mental health perspective, I just knew I needed that time to be home. You know, because maybe I was just doing laundry that day. I needed to catch up on laundry. Or maybe I need to just, you know, like right now I'm planning on moving and I need to be present for I could probably do it the few days before, but I don't want to be stressing about that, you know? There's already so much going on at work and in my life that I really don't want to put that added stress, you know? So for me, it was just having those conversations with my family, with my friends, with my girlfriend, you know, just being like, that sounds fun, but like, I don't want to be out late.
Are those conversations usually pretty difficult on your part to like explain away? Because I'm sure you can see it from the outside in. It's really hard to understand why you don't have the time or why you don't have the mental space for hanging out with friends or just doing nothing or just hanging out, you know?
Yeah.
So do you find those conversations to be very difficult when it comes to, you know, family and friends and girlfriends and all that?
Yeah. I mean, like, just being honest, like, I think, like, with our friendship, I felt like it was hard because we don't see each other a lot, you know? And so, like, when I say it with, like, a girlfriend or, like, my family, it was, like, I'm going to see them the next day, so it's kind of easy to say, like, no. You know, like, I need tomorrow to rest. And they'll go, okay, that's fine. I'll see you tomorrow, you know? Versus, like, with our friendship, like, that has been the hardest challenge for me is, like, I'm not doing it because I don't want to hang out with you guys. Like, that's not it. It's like, I just need that time to just unwind.
Yeah.
You know? So the challenge I found was just, like, friends that I don't see often.
Is that one of your biggest, or if not the biggest challenge of having such a set schedule on the full-time gig where you stay overtime all the time?
I would say so, yeah. Because, like, I found myself doing it with friends still. Even, like, my cousin, like, he just wants to play video games sometimes. Yeah. And, like, I struggle to just, like, find time for it, you know, because I'm like, I just want to be home. I don't want to, you know, yeah, I can play a couple games, but I'm just like, I had a long day. I don't really feel like doing it, you know, or even, like, last night I had a little bit, and I even apologized to my sister. I didn't do anything bad, but, like, I came home and the first thing she asked was, like, she was, like, lying in bed. She's like, can you close the blinds? And then I was like I had food in my backpack and just, like, a bunch of stuff, and, like, you've probably been there where you're just like, I just want to throw everything on the floor and just, like, crash on my bed. But she's like, can you get the blinds? I'm like, you've been home all day, like, what, like, yes. And then, like, I asked her how her day was, and then it turned into, like, so, like, my car, it's like, and she started, and I was like, okay, I'm here for you, but also
I'm dying.
I want to go lie down. Yeah. I want a bowl of cereal. I just want to, like, click off for a little bit. Yeah. You know, like, I can't be there mentally to give you that support. Yeah. So I even told her, I was like, I'm going to stop you just because, like, I just want to unwind for a little bit. She said, oh, okay. And so, like, I went, and then, like, I went back out, and, like, I was like, I was, like, changing. I was like, was I snippy? I hope I wasn't snippy, you know? And so, like, I changed, and I put my pajamas on, and then I walked out. I was like, hey, I just want to apologize. Like, I feel like I was, like, kind of, like, you know, snippy at you. And she goes, no, I didn't feel that way, you know? And so it was, like, it was just this idea that, like, I'm also just being aware of how I speak to people and what kind of tone of voice I'm taking, right? Because like it's like I know how I feel and I know what I want, and suddenly like that little speed bump kind of happens, and it's like I want to be fully present, but like that's the challenge is like like finding that balance between being fully present, and like that is my goal, because it helps me, and then it helps the person I'm talking to too. It's a rewarding experience essentially.
Right, and it's something that every time we talk, it's something that you're constantly trying to figure it out, you know.
Yeah.
And I just from from a film indie world perspective, I feel like one of my biggest challenge with that is for friends that are not here.
Yeah.
Because I have friends that are not in America, and they text me, and I'm just terrible at responding. And it's something that I'm really bad at it, and I don't know how to fix it for the time being. It's just that it's from the outside in. It's really hard to understand
what's going on.
When I say I'm working, I'm out there 12, 13, 14, 16-hour day.
Yeah.
When I come back, I die in my bed.
Yeah, you just shut off.
There's absolutely no space for any of that. And even when I do have time, I don't have, the mental space to like start a conversation or FaceTime them or something, and that's something that I constantly trying to better myself at. One of the jokes that I heard from set is one of the first days he told me is that his girlfriend is not in the industry, so that when he said, I'm gonna be there's another one last shot and I'll be home. And then like 4 hours passes. I was like, what's happening? I'm like, it takes like 5 hours for the last shot. It just takes that long to set up.
Yeah.
And for people who are not in the industry, it's very hard for them to understand, which in turn, it turns into us harder to manage and balance out everything and to like explain ourselves kind of.
Yeah.
Which, ultimately, I don't think there's an excuse if you really want to keep a good connection or a good friendship with other people. You really have to fight for it, I feel like. But now you don't have to worry about commuting as much anymore, right? Because you are moving.
Yeah, I'm moving closer.
Yeah, closer to where it is.
Yeah, which is going to be super nice. It's going to save on gas, and should theoretically grant me more of the ability to be in person. You know what I'm saying? And to be present, because there's always a shoot going on, and that's my duty, is to ingest the media, put it on our server so it's saved and backed up and everything like that. So that's going to be really nice. Yeah. And that's going to be really nice. Also sleeping in, that I could theoretically wake up 20 minutes before and throw on some clothes and still make it on time.
Yeah. And congratulations. Like, I'm really happy for you.
Thanks, man.
You finally like don't have to worry about any of that bullshit anymore, which I feel like, grants you the space and time and energy to do things with your friends, like directing a musical, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are directing the Drunk Lady musicals that with correct. Some of your Mythical friends. Yeah. So I just want to talk to me about that.
Sure.
What's it like? What's going on?
A lot is going on, but in a good way. Yeah, Drunk Lady Musical started as like in our friend Adelaide's living room. We did Drunk Wicked, and she had like a Canon Rebel T6i, and she's like, I'm just gonna have it like record. Like, that's not how she sounds. I don't know why. Adelaide, if you're listening, that's not how you sound like in my head.
You're just gonna listen to this?
I don't know, but Adelaide, I apologize.
Oh my God, I'm not cutting that out.
Yeah, great. No, but like she was like, I'm just gonna like let it record, like, and I was like, does it not have, I was like, there's like a 30-minute recording limit on my T6i,
right?
Like, are you sure about that? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. And I was like, I'm gonna monitor this camera. So it really started with me at the T6i, just like
clicking record,
and then like letting it sit and going, oh, we're 30 minutes. I'm gonna hit record again. So it continued, replacing the batteries because she only had 2 batteries, and so recorded the whole show. It was not perfect at all. Like, there's, it cuts during people's songs. I don't think we had a microphone, so it was just the internal microphone from the camera. It's serviceable. You can find it on YouTube if you like. Drunk Lady Musicals on
Plug.
YouTube. A little plug, yeah.
I haven't even seen it.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. I'm in it for like a brief second. Then we did Drunk Sweeney Todd, which was in an actual live theater. Was in a theater. We sold tickets and everything, and I was kind of like, I was gonna be in it, and I was like, I want a recording of this. So I got a couple of my friends and we used our gear and we recorded the session. So this one's still being edited. We're still in the process of getting it out there, but it was a lot of Mythical friends and just friends of Adelaide that were in the show doing this drunk musical. And it was really fun. I mean, like I learned a lot about organization and coordinating, right? It's one thing to just do like a gig for someone that's like, record my family's birthday party or record this wedding, you kind of hit the same beats, right? This was a live theater production.
Right.
And so you were trying to record it, and like the challenge we had was I had my Blackmagic and then we had two Canon, cameras. And so I was like, I can trust that the Blackmagic is going to run by itself because it's continuous recording. And we're going to need people to man the Canon. So we had people on it, being able to swap batteries and to start and stop. And we made those our B and C cameras, our close-up cameras, so that way, when we have to cut, the A camera as the Blackmagic is already capturing the show, right? And what was really nice is I learned a lot from my past jobs, and this is one of those things where it's like, I implore people to take that one job, like take that library position job, or, that the job that you're like, I don't know, like, cause you're going to learn something from it and it's going to help you. So like at St. Louis, we did like live streams. We used PTZ cameras, which is basically just like security cameras. And we use the choir sound system, and we had like live audio in this live feed. For a time in the beginning, we were actually renting cameras, and we were doing like a 3 or 4 camera setup. We had like mics and like camera 1, you're on. Camera 2, be ready. Camera 2, you're on. Camera 3, be ready. Like that sort of shit.
Sounds like a live switchers kind of thing.
Basically, yeah. And it helped that at Mythical, I've seen stuff like that production wise with GMM, and then like live with GME, Good Mythical Evening, that they do, which is a live show. So I've seen it all when it comes to like how they coordinated, how they go about it. And so I was able to apply a lot that I learned from that and apply it to the show, which our third show, which you can find on YouTube right now, which is Drunk Little Shop of Horrors. We live streamed that. We were able to get a small crew together and have that loaded on YouTube for like an audience to watch, because we had tickets that you could go see the show in person. We had a lot of fans requesting to go see the show who aren't local to California, how they could see the show. So we worked out and devised a plan for streaming. The issue that came up with that was like, I know that from a legal perspective, where this weird Drunk Little Shop of Horrors is this weird, like, a hybrid of a show, in that we're karaoke and we're also a musical, and we need licensing.
Right, because you don't own it.
Yeah, we don't own it, exactly. And we're putting it on YouTube, of all places. Yeah. And it doesn't help that we're drinking on stage, right? And so it's like, we had many, many meetings with Adelaide and Alex and I, just kind of going over how and where we can buy licensing to like at least protect us. Maybe we don't get dinged, but like, I don't want to take that chance that we upload it and then we get a copy strike and then we have to pull the show. Like, let's cover our butts and get the license to do karaoke and the license to do a live stream. So that, I really credit Adelaide and Alex for really like, I kind of got the ball rolling, but they really brought it home, and so like I give much credit to them and their ability to do that. So that was a challenge. And, you know, the other challenge was just like building out your crew. We were in a small place. So the original place that we had, they canceled us. They didn't, well, we had a venue, and then I want to say like 3 weeks before the show, they were like, so we gave it to another show.
Okay.
Sure.
You're kicked out, basically.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So it was like, fuck. Yeah. So we were scrambling to find an alternative place. Luckily we did, but it was small. Right. So when we actually got there, like this stage was like, you know, it's a bar, stage, and then the like kind of like dining room area basically. And there was only one aisle to get to the front, right? And then I was very happy that I brought a very small table because I was squished up against the back of the wall with the sound mixer. Tally was on sound. She was doing a great job. Because I mean, like, the challenge with Alive is like we don't rehearse these shows at all. And the only rehearsal that is happening is like the performers. You know, they're meeting together to like work out harmonies and whatnot. Yeah. But from a technical perspective, like we're doing everything
on the go.
Improvise.
Wow.
Yeah, which poses some challenges, right? Because like we don't set like what singer's gonna sing where, you know, and those things would be helpful. And those are things that we can talk about in the future, obviously. But, you know, for this instance, it was like we have backup microphones. There's so much happening at once that you can't really, like, account for who's going to be singing where on what level do I need to set this microphone, because everyone's just
running all over the place.
Exactly. Watch the show. It's great. Yeah. But that was the challenge, but it was very rewarding for me because I was like, I don't get to do this at Mythical. Right. You know, like I'm an AE, and sometimes I'll be on set, and sometimes I might get an edit, and that's really fun. You know, but my main role is assistant editor and getting preps out. So being able to have this like directing like hat that I get to wear and allows me to meet and work with creative people. We had Smosh, we had people from College Humor and Mythical. You know, we had a really good group. And to be able to say that I helped direct that and put that live stream out there is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how did you get into theater then? You said you directed this musical that everyone can watch already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drunk Lady Musicals. Drunk Lady Musicals.
Yeah. So yeah, how did you get into theater? Because I think you were a theater kid, right? And then you act a little bit, and then you also sing.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you get into that?
Yeah. So yes, I'm a theater kid, but I don't think I'm a theater kid. You know.
Not theater camp kids.
Yeah, I'm not theater. Yeah, that's a great movie, by the way. I'm not theater camp level. I'm definitely just like, I love musicals. I love Phantom of the Opera. I love The Producers, Sweeney Todd. Right, I have a good short list of musicals that I like. West Side Story is another good one. But I wouldn't say like that was like a dream of mine, you know. So I did it in high school. My first production was Aladdin. I was Aladdin. We did.
I don't know why that's so funny to me. Sorry.
I can show you. You know, if this was a live recording with like video, I would pull up the photo and I would show you
when we get enough budget.
Yeah, for the next one, we'll just do a recount. But I was Aladdin. Then we did Susico the Musical.
Okay.
I was JoJo, so I was just one of the Who kids. I got typecast basically, and then the third one was Addams Family. And funny enough, I wasn't in it. I auditioned, but I wasn't in it because I was doing an edit for journalism. Mm-hmm. And the musical teacher said, like, if you can't commit today, then you can't commit ever. And I was like, whoa, okay, whatever.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, being dramatic, you know. And I can remember people were like, oh, I'm gonna like, if you don't get it, like, I'm not gonna be in the show. And then they got like big parts, and they're like,
never mind.
They suddenly forgot. They're like, just kidding. Dude, that sucks. You know.
Sucks for you.
My musical teacher was really cool. So I was also in choir. She was like, can you at least be in the pit stage choir? You know, because we just need more voices. You don't need to be in makeup or anything. You could just. So I was like, dude, that's easy. You know, I show up. I can be in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
and I'm in the pit stage. I'm in the pit stage. I'm in the pit stage. Yeah. And doing a song. But I also was in choir. I've been in that since freshman year. I pride that with kind of making me the person I am. I think that also, like, it goes in part with, like, I was already big into soundtracks, and now I get to be a part of a soundtrack.
A soundtrack, yeah.
You know?
That's wonderful.
Yeah, like telling a story through word and through voice. And, like, that was always so cool. So, you know, I've been able to, it was such a great opportunity because, like, one, it taught me music. I was singing, but, like, I didn't have it. It wasn't, like, a well-rounded kind of, it wasn't refined as it could have been. And this really allowed me to really hone in on that and travel. We went to, like, Seattle and San Francisco. We went to Rome to sing for the Pope, which was really cool. You know, so, and I came away with just, like, many great memories. So I've had musical theater, I've had choir, I've had, I mean, that's kind of where it kind of stops, you know. And then I just listen to soundtracks. If you looked at my phone or my iPod from middle school, it was like
all
John Williams, Hans Zimmer. I had some Brian Tyler because he was doing a lot of video game scores at the time. It was like Smosh and Rhett and Link. Like, that was my iPod, you know. And even now, if we were to open up Spotify,
what a palette.
Again, like, this goes back to, like, my resume talk, where it's like, I think if you do a little bit of everything, that's just gonna go a long way for you.
Speaking of you doing theater and directing theater, and also, like, you act sometimes, and also you're interested in writing scripts, and you're interested in videography and making movies and all that, do you ever feel like you're chasing too many hares at once? Because that's certainly how I feel at the moment, that I feel like I'm good at things, but I wish I mastered at one thing, you know. I have one thing that makes me bread, that I'm focusing on because it makes me bread, and that I have this passion for it. I love my job, and I want to be better at it. But at the same time, there's so many other things that I want to pursue.
And that you're good at.
That I'm good at, but I feel like I'm not there. I'm never there. Do you ever feel like that?
Yes.
And how do you come to terms with it?
Yeah. No, I think the answer is yes. And I think that's why I do those things. You know, I don't know anything about it, but I'm going to learn by trial and error. Case in point, like the theater directing it. There's no instructions, you know. I created that position for myself, you know. I was like, I want more opportunities to use my camera. My camera sits in my closet and never gets used, you know, and I spend so much on it. And at a lot of places where I was applying to or used to work, you know, their thing was like, you know, I want a promotion or something like that, but they're like, you don't have that skill, you know. But I'm like, I can do it. I'm good at it, you know. I would like to try it, you know. And so I kind of go out there and do it. So, like, at Long Beach, you know, I knew some things about sound, but I did a sound mix,
right?
You know, and that was fun. And it also felt very low stakes. I also think there's, like, a boundary to it. Like, I think it's two-part. It's go out and do it if you can. If it's just something, what everyone says, if it's just you and your friends doing something, that's the best place to, like, learn trial and error.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I've applied it with, like, the musical theater. We're just friends. We're a group of comedians and theater nerds who just want to get together, get drunk, and, like, do a show. You know, like, yes, we have fans, and yes, we're kind of turning this into, like, a bigger thing, but, like, it's still low stakes. This is our third show, you know? For those things where I'm like, I don't know how to do, like, I go out and try to learn it. Right. I don't try to master it, because I don't think I'm ever going to master it, because it's also expensive. You know, like, I realized soon on that, like, if I want all the really fancy sound speakers and stuff, like, that's going to cost me a lot of money, you know. But I know that directing and editing is going to help make the dough. Yeah. So I'm going to invest my money in that because I'm actually going to see a return. Versus, like, I want to try sound mixing and I want to do it, and the equipment I have a very ground level understanding. So I won't pitch myself as this is what I do, but it's something that I can offer. Yeah. and letting that person know, like, I can do this. It's just gonna be very.
You're gonna get what you pay for,
Right.
which is probably low or nothing, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I like, I would love to do composing, but I also don't feel confident. Like, that's something where I'm like, I don't feel confident in my music skills yet, because I think there's a time in the future where, putting it out there, like, I would love to do a musical and I would love to write, but that's where, like, someone like you comes in, where, like, I'm like, I know Howard is fucking amazing at, like, writing shit, and maybe not musicals per se, but writing music, I can at least speak. I know enough to speak that language for you to go,
I get it.
yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm not a master at it, but, like, I can play ball.
Yeah.
I can play ball, and so I think, like, that's fundamentally where I lie. Where, like, I want to be a jack of all trades, and a master of none.
Yeah.
Where I know everything, but I'm not going to be a master at
You
it.
think that's an advantage to your part?
I think so. Yeah, I think, like, I'm very flexible, So yeah, like, I don't worry about not mastering anything.
So out of all of these, is there any war stories that came from any of these positions? Which one give you the most difficult time in the past?
Could be anything.
Yeah,
Like, you
anything that is really, like, because, like, I'm on set all the time, and
Yeah.
When you're on set,
Something.
there's always some shit, some drama, some war stories that happen,
Yeah.
Which I'm sure for you there's a lot too.
Yeah. The one that I can think of was when I was working at the, like, screen company. The manager there, she was very nice. She was very sweet. But their management skills was not up to par. And expected everything to be done in a quick turnaround, right? Keep in mind, I was a freelancer for them. I was doing photography. I was doing editing for the photos. And then I was also recording how-to videos and then editing those. The challenge with that was, one, as I mentioned, management was poor, and, like, notes that I got from this manager was, like, difficult. Like, they would say, like, I showed them, like, a screen grab from the how-to video, and they said, make it more creative. And I was like,
That's like directors coming up to you and be like, act better.
yeah, you're like, but how? Like, what do you mean? And I asked for clarification. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you need me to change? She goes, no, I don't know. Make it more creative. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. What does that mean? Like, help me out, And it got to the point too where, like, she was almost, like, taking the photos herself, and it was just like she just didn't trust me. We were in the room and she's like, trying to get the photos, and I'm telling her, and I would tell him, like, it's the limitations of the resources and what we're asking. And to them that sounded like I'm giving up, but it was like, I'm not giving up. I'm telling you that, like, I need assistance, more resources, and someone who's listening might be like, well, yeah, you like fucking suck at your job or whatever. Like, maybe, I don't know. I'm not gonna argue that, but for me, I felt like I was doing a good job, because you can go on the website now, and the photos that I took and the edits that I made, they're still on there, right? So clearly something's working. I think she quickly realized that, like, it's not as easy as going in a room and snapping a photo. Right. There's a lot of setup, and I'm one person, and the rooms are small, so if you're trying to get an angled photo, like, I'm up against a window doing this. Yeah. Like, I'm working with what I have. Yeah. Or same with, like, a video. Like, she would complain because there's, like, a wrinkle, there's a crease in the screen, and you're like, but, like, I don't think it, like, I'm in 4K, we're on a wide, no one's looking at that, but yeah. She sees it, and why don't you see that? And I can just remember, like, a lot of the employees were just always on edge. We were always on edge. And so, like, that was the war story. It was just, like, man, like really feeling bad about like my quality of work. Like I can't imagine what like some of the graphic designers go through or animators go through for like Walt Disney and stuff like that. Like, and how they're treated like at Marvel and stuff, you know? Like when I was working there with this one manager, she just couldn't understand it, and she just took it as like, well, you don't know how to do your job.
I feel like that's what separates people who understand and people who don't understand.
Yes.
Because I think for entertainment industry, at least for, GMM, for example, or for film or for TV, and it's like from the outside in, it seems so easy.
Yeah.
Turn on the camera and shoot it, right? But it's never that way.
No, it's like
it's like me thinking as a high schooler brain, thinking that GMM is easy.
Yeah.
Turn on the camera, they talk about some bullshit for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, they're done.
Yeah, you forget there's a writer, there's a producer, they gotta source the food, and then they gotta get, they have to have meetings about it and make sure that everything's, and then they're on set, they're doing it, and then Rent and Link are briefed on it, and
there's just so much, so many things that go into, one thing that looks effortless for people. But that it really opened my eyes, and when I enter into the entertainment industry and film industry, like really understand how everything works and gain a new like appreciation to these things. Any long-term or short-term goal for now, professionally and personally?
Sure. I think professionally, I would love the opportunity to, whether it's at GMM or just on the outside, to like direct something, work with a team, work something out creatively. I think I'm getting a little bit of that with Drunk Lady musicals. And Mythical has been very good about like, when there is something that I want to try, they're like, okay, let's see how we can work this in your schedule, and that's been really good. So I can kind of stretch my creative juices a little bit, whether that's, doing a side project with friends or just something creative on the side for myself. I would love to just get, I don't want to say content out, but just make something that is meaningful to me. Yeah. And also just say like, just make connections with people, both from a business perspective and from a friend perspective, and learn from people. And I think that carries over into with the family and friendships that I do have, nourishing them more, nourish friendships and nourish myself. I'm in a point in my life where I'm almost like, I'm ready to give up social media. I'm ready to throw away. I probably won't delete my account, but I'll definitely like remove it from my phone, log out for a bit, and just kind of live incognito.
Who am I gonna send memes to now?
I know. I'm sorry. You can text it. Like I'll be on my phone. Like I'm already doing that with my girlfriend, because I've stopped doing like looking at TikToks. Just something about it. Like I just can't.
Good for you.
I just know it's invested time, and I'd rather like eat than like go through and look at TikToks. And like I think if anything's gonna go first, it's gonna be TikTok, then Instagram. What
about some short-term stuff that you're working on? Any goals that you want to reach?
Yeah, short-term, I think it's really move out and
in the process of doing so.
And doing that, yeah. And settle in.
Yeah.
We create routines, right? And I know a couple of my friends, when I've been over, like their whole routine is like going and they'll make themselves coffee. Like my girlfriend does that. She makes herself coffee. Or like another friend, she will make herself like breakfast and she'll eat it before she works. Yeah, it's like, what's that like?
What's that like having time to make breakfast in the morning?
Like to have some type of nourishment in your body that isn't like a Mott's, like fruit snack or like a strawberry waffle. Yeah, or some shit like that. Like maybe more long term is like be more active, because I sit at a desk all day. Yeah. And if I'm not sitting, I'm going to be standing because I'm behind a camera. If I wanted to do gym, I got to be waking up at like 5.
You got to be Josh.
I got to be Josh. I'm not Josh. Not yet. But yeah, that's sort of the short term. Also get a little healthy too.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm full on supporting.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Lightning round. You ready for that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want you to say something.
I like this. This is good. We didn't talk about this, did we?
What?
A lightning round.
Did we?
I don't think we did. That's why I'm like, this is good.
No, we did not talk
This is
about
good.
that.
I like this.
But
Go
just a few questions. I don't want you to think too much of it. I want you to say something, all right?
Okay.
Lightning round.
No, okay.
Favorite cereal?
Oh, right now, dude, my favorite cereal is Fruity Pebbles. That shit's smacking, bro.
That's good.
Yeah.
Favorite pizza topping?
Pineapple. I know that's a controversial take.
Favorite one?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But favorite topping is pineapple. But I will usually get like from like the BJ's Brewery. I'll get the I think it's like the chicken barbecue one. It's got like cilantro and tomatoes and like chicken and the barbecue sauce. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Favorite piece of score? Just name one.
Oh wait.
Just name one.
Score? Like not the song, right? Like the album.
The album.
Fuck.
5.
That's a no. Give me a countdown, dude. Because I'm gonna say something dumb. I think. Shit. Damn it. That's so hard because there's so many. I think if I had to recontextualize it with like if I'm, on an island, what would I want to listen to? Oh my god, from the rest of my life. Oh man. I think it would have to be something John Williams. Oh, is it cheating? Is it cheating if I say his concert in Vienna?
No.
Okay, it's his concert in Vienna because it covers
Everything.
Right. But I feel like to answer your question, maybe Temple of Doom. Maybe Temple of Doom.
All right. What score have you been listening to the most recently?
I think it's honestly it's not one single one. It's more I kind of stick within the theme. It was just raining recently, so I know you asked one, but I'm gonna give you what I did.
Sure.
It's been raining, so my rain rotation is Jurassic Park, it's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and The Shape of Water. Those are really good. Those are rainy day soundtracks. Yeah. If you have more recs.
War for the Planet.
Oh yeah. I will occasionally jump into that from time to time. Terminal, kind of, but not really.
A Ghost Story is a really good rainy day.
I will add that one for next time. For when I drive home, it's usually like Dial of Destiny. When I'm working, it's typically like I'll do Temple of Doom, and I'll do Last Crusade. But I also feel like I need to shout out like Ratatouille soundtrack.
Oh shit, shit slaps, dude.
Fucking fire. Yeah. Or Jurassic World, or Lightyear.
One of your favorite films and why?
One of my favorite films and why? Another good like loaded question, but funny enough, I think maybe it's because I was just talking about it, but I feel like a movie that I revisit from time to time is Hook. Mm-hmm. Steven Spielberg's Hook.
Yeah, you were talking about it before we started recording.
Yeah, and it's probably why it's on the top of my head, but I really do think like I revisit it because I like this. Spielberg doesn't like it. It's like a forgotten child of his, and he doesn't want to claim it. But I think what Robin Williams does, what the movie wanted to be, Dustin Hoffman's performance and all of that, and far and foremost, John Williams' score. It's doing the legwork for this movie. And I just recently bought like the expanded score for it, and I cried. Like I just, this movie, it's not amazing in any form, but like it's just something that just like hits home for me a lot, and it's just something that I could very easily like put on the background and like quote from time to time. Yeah. So I think Hook.
One of your favorite filmmakers. Name one.
Oh, I mean like Steven Spielberg.
That's the obvious one. Yeah. Do you have another one?
Another like that's not Steven basically. I feel like it would probably be like Back to the Future. Like I feel like I'm that typical filmmaker. Sorry. So Zemeckis maybe. Uh-huh. But if I had to support, I usually say someone like Wes Anderson. I'm trying.
Oh, I know your favorite director, Damien Chazelle. Shout out, dude. Damien Chazelle. Masterpieces after masterpieces.
I feel like that's just another podcast within itself.
Yeah, we'll have you on for another episode when you're just talking shit about Damien Chazelle all day. Biggest fear?
I think getting old. I don't fear dying. Getting old. Yeah. I think for me it's just like I've seen it, and I don't like the fact that people have to care for me because I can't do it myself. Right. And weirdly enough, I think I'd rather be dead by at that point, you know?
Yeah, that's a lot of people's mentality, and I totally understand it, you know, like seeing it up close.
But it's also like, it's hard to say because I don't know what my life's going to be like at that point. You know, will I have kids? Will I have a family? You know, is there something that I want to stay alive to see? You know, and maybe that's what keeps me going. You know, but I think for right now, it's just the idea of old age, losing your memory, scary. Yeah. You know, yeah, you know, people are afraid of spiders and stuff. I'm afraid of getting old.
Yeah. Favorite thing about working at Mythical?
I love the environment. I love the people. Yeah. Everyone is, everyone's very nice and very supportive.
Least favorite thing about the entertainment industry?
I think it's just how hard they push everyone. There's like this very poor expectation of like giving, you know, it's just content, you know, and you're just ingesting media every single day, and every company's vying for your attention, and because of that, you know, because they got to get things out quickly, you know, they're abusing the hours of the actual employees, and they're not paying them what they're worth, you know, and we're seeing a lot with the strikes. We're seeing a lot with what's going on with Warner Brothers right now. This like higher up execs are just getting away with shit, and we're finally calling them out on it, you know. And so I think the thing that I like the least, we're slowly talking about it again. You know, I'm not deep into it, right? We're still young, we're still learning about it, but those are our friends, those are our family in that industry, and so the least we could do is just support.
Yeah, right. Yeah, two more.
Yeah.
Are tennis balls green or yellow?
I think I said they were I think I said they were yellow. I feel like we had this conversation before. I think I said they were yellow.
All right, yellow. Are you locked in on your answer?
Final answer. Okay, cool. What are they? You don't have an answer?
I mean, we're gonna tally after a season because I'm asking everyone this question.
That's good.
All right, last one. Favorite podcast and why is it this one?
Yeah. So that's funny because it's not. No. No. I mean, yeah. I like what you're doing, man. You're setting a bar, and I think I like this idea that you're kind of keeping it local. You know what I'm saying? And you know, having friends and family who are in the industry. You, from what I've just experienced here today, and what I know of you, a good host and a good friend. So I think there's great potential for this to go off and...
It's going to the moon.
Going to the moon, man.
Take over Dispatches Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Take over Hot Dog is a Sandwich.
Charles
Charles Neal as a special guest. Yeah. And we're taking over your biscuits very soon.
Dispatches from Myrtle Beach.
With my son.
Link Neal. Yeah.
And their faces like float across the screen.
Yeah, that's really good.
All right, that's the end of lightning round. Any last words? And totally not rip off from Ear Biscuits. Any rec?
Oh shoot, any rec.
Last words, any rec? Anything you watched recently? Anything you listened recently? Anything you've done recently?
I was listening to the John Williams at Vienna, and they had this suite from Jaws, and I clicked for me that opening, I guess notes from that is the same as the finale from The Fabelmans. So when he's like, yeah, like I was like, because I had it on shuffle, and I was like, oh, it's playing The Fabelmans, interesting. And then it went into Jaws, and I was like, what? You know, like, that's crazy. Interesting. That's not a rec. But it was just a fun fact.
That's a rec. Go check that out. It's on
check it out. No? Yeah, you get to listen. Play the Fabelmans, the ending scene song, and then play the, where it's like, and then do the Jaws, the it's the same like sound. It's the same sound, and it does like the dun dun. There's like the little I don't know if it's like what is the xylophone, or if it's like the bells or whatever, but they do like the little call to adventure, and maybe that's an actual wink to Spielberg and Jaws, or it was just a very coincidence because you know that composers rip themselves off a lot. So it's either one, but I also feel like I want to give a rec.
Yeah, give a rec. Live closer to your work.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I want everyone to like watch something. Go watch Hook.
Go watch Hook.
Go watch Hook.
Which special guest question mark at Silver Hour over?
Yeah, I mean maybe go watch that after this. I don't know when that.
No, this one is probably gonna come out pretty soon.
Okay, for sure. Never mind. Just bookmark it for later.
Yeah, but look out for Jake being on Silver Hour.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor, but about the biggest competition we're gonna take over. So yeah, thank you for recording with me. Thank you for talking to me. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it. Yay, we did
They
it.
didn't see it, but they felt it.
Yeah, we just fist bumped.
And
And cut.
Nice. Yay. How long was that? That was pretty good. That was fun.
Yay, we did it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I think it's really just that.
Yeah.
Cause
Yeah.
you're the producer, editor. Yay! Good shit. Who's the next guest?